I will indeed. Good night, sir, and Merry Christmas.
I'm standing out in the open here for crying out loud.
I got orders not to let you in, Miss Piper. Sorry.
The office was closed in a twinkling, and Bob Cratchit, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play with his family at Blind Man's Buff. Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern. And having read all the newspapers and spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went to his dismal house. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. The yard was so dark
so you got
that even
one of those
Scrooge,
fancy
who knew its every stone, had to grope with his hands through the fog and the frost to find the door.
You.
Scrooge
You want
walked
into
through his
Dynasty,
rooms
right?
to see that all was right. Sitting room,
Just
bedroom,
traveling through.
lumber room, all as they should be. Nobody under the table, nobody on the sofa. nobody under the
What's
bed,
that?
nobody in the closet.
You said you're a trader up from Quincy? You have enough supplies to keep the general store stocked for a whole month?
And took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and slippers and his
You hear that,
nightcap.
Danny? You gonna open the
And
gate and
sat
let
down
us in,
before
or
the
are you
fire
gonna be the
and
one
sipped
talking to
cool.
crazy Myrna about losing out on all the supply?
Jeez, all right. No need to make it personal, Piper. Give me a minute.
Better head inside quick before old Danny catches on to the bluff.
Marley! I could have sworn I saw... Marley's been dead these 7 years. Humbug.
This place, Diamond City. What is it?
I need is a
Oh, the Green Jewel? She's a sight. Everyone who's anyone in the Commonwealth is from here, settled here, got kicked out of here. A big wall,
door's
some
locked.
power,
Double
working
locked.
plumbing, schools, and some
Something's
security goons are what make Diamond
coming.
City the big monster it is.
Something coming
Oh,
closer.
love it or hate it.
Outside my door.
You'll see for yourself soon enough. Let's go.
That's classic
It's
Piper.
humbug
Lots of
still.
talking, lots of lying, and if you spend enough time with her, there'll be a lot of prying. She's a pain in the ass.
Marley.
Piper, who let you back inside? I told
What do you
Sullivan to
want with
keep
me?
that gate shut. You devious, rabble-rousing slanderer. The level of dishonesty in that paper of yours. I'll have that printer
Ooh, that a
scrapped for
statement, Mr.
parts.
McDonough? Tyrant mayor shuts down the press.
All right, then. Who
Why don't
are
we ask
ya?
the newcomer? You support the news? Because the mayor's threatened to throw free speech in the dumpster.
Jacob Marley. But you're dead. You died 7 years ago.
7 years ago this very night.
This really isn't any of my business.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring you into this argument, miss. No. You look like Diamond City material. Welcome to the great green jewel of the Commonwealth. Safe, happy, a fine place to come. Spend your money, settle down. Don't let this muckraker here tell you otherwise, all right?
You may be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, or
I'm sure your city's a great place.
fragment of an
Yeah,
undone potato.
greatest house of cards in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, there may be
Until
more
the wind
gravy than
blows.
the grave of whatever you want.
Now, was there anything particular?
Humbug.
Not really your business.
I've had enough of this, Piper. From now on, consider you and that little sister of yours on notice.
Yeah, keep talking, McDonough. That's all you're good for.
Why do you walk?
A big Diamond City welcome from the mayor. You feel honored yet? Look, I gotta go get settled in, but, stop by my office later. I have an idea for an article you'd be perfect for.
Witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth. Turn to happiness.
Well, tell me, Jacob, what is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. By my own
Noodles.
free will.
We should go to Power Noodles.
Is it
I haven't had a
Adam's
decent bowl of noodles in
strange to you,
forever.
Ebenezer?
Cash boxes, keys, padlocks, pledges and purses.
The best thing about Diamond City is you can totally relax.
Oh, Jacob, speak comfort. To me, Jacob.
Comfort I have none to give.
Anyone is
I cannot rest.
wonderful.
I cannot stay. I cannot linger. Weary journeys lie before me.
You travel far?
Yes, Ebenezer. On the wings of the wind.
7 years dead and traveling all the time.
7 years, Ebenezer.
in those jumpsuits,
7 years of
A
remorse.
detective agency?
Ebenezer, do you
Maybe
know
they can help me.
no space of regret can make amends for one life's opportunities misused?
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business. Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Oh, Jacob, don't take on so now.
To the
Jacob,
office.
Listen to me, Ebenezer.
I listen to you, Jacob. Go on, Jacob, now. Speak to me, but don't be so flowery.
Ebenezer, I am here to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. Do you hear that, Ebenezer?
Yes, Jacob. Yes, you always were a good friend to me, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. But go on. How shall I escape? Oh, I'm afraid, Jacob.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the only chance and hope, Jacob?
It is your only chance and hope.
Well, then I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Ebenezer, look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us. And remember, when the bell tolls 1, look for the first spirit.
Molly. Jacob, Molly.
Scrooge awoke. He was lying on his bed fully dressed. Suddenly the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them as close to it as I am now to you. And I am standing in the spirit at your elbow. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age. And yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Who's that?
Ebenezer Scrooge, I have come for you.
Oh, you, are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold me?
I am that spirit.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
But what do you want of me? Or what brings you here to haunt me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise and walk with me.
Oh, no, not out of the window. I can't do that. I'll fall down. I'm not a spirit. I'm mortal, and I'll fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me.
Where are we? What's become of the city? There's snow upon the ground. Where are we?
These are the shadows of the things that have been. You recognize this countryside?
Oh, I know every inch of it. Every rock, every tree.
And that bleak building over there?
Ah, that building. I was a boy there. Yes, I went to school in that horrible place.
Do you recollect that path?
I could walk it blindfold.
Strange you should forget it so many years. Come, let us go closer. Look through the window into that cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his family, alone.
Yes, I see. I know that boy. Oh, I was so lonely. Poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that on your cheek?
It's nothing. Nothing at all. I wish I... it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. The waits came to my door singing Christmas carols last night, and there was a boy like that among them. A poor, pale, thin little boy in a ragged coat. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
Is that all? Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. Let us see another Christmas. Do you know this place, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Know it? Know it? Why, this is the counting house where I was apprentice.
Listen.
It's my old master, bless his heart. Old Fezziwig. My master, alive again. And hosted one of his Christmas parties. Listen to him.
Bow and curtsy. Corkscrew. Thread the needle and back to your places.
And there's Dick Wilkins. Poor Dick. Dear. Yes, and look, there's Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. And the tables all loaded with roast and cider, mince pie and beer. Oh, what a jolly time we used to have.
That carefree young man with the light heart and the gay smile. Do you recognize him?
Yes.
You stop waving that gun in my face.
How happy I was then.
A small matter for old Fezziwig to make those silly folks so full of joy.
Small matter? Small indeed.
Isn't it? He has spent only a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power lies in words and looks and in things so tiny that it's impossible to count 'em up. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost
What is the matter?
Oh, nothing at all, Spirit.
Something, I think.
No.
Speak.
Well, only it's just that I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit. That's all.
Advance and retire. Bow and curtsy. Thread the needle.
My time grows short, and we have yet another journey to make.
Where now?
Come. This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here, in this little room, with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No. Spare me this.
You're older now, a man in the prime of life. Your face has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. Your eyes are greedy, the eager, restless eyes of a miser.
No, please.
She knows it, too. That girl by your side. There are tears in her eyes.
Very little. I know that.
Belle, have I changed toward you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Better to be poor?
Better at least to be happy. You're changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. Do you blame me because I've grown wiser? Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no. Never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. In everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle!
Oh, at first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain. But soon it will be dim. Like a half-remembered dream. An unprofitable dream. And you will be glad to be awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer. For the love of him you once were.
Spirit, it's enough. Show me no more. Take me home.
These were shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me.
No, no more, no more.
One shadow more. Come. Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you, and the woman beside him your wife, and that girl might have been your daughter, Ebenezer Scrooge. She might have called you father. She might have been a springtime in the haggard winter of your life.
Spirit, let me go. Show me no more.
Listen now while they speak, Ebenezer.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Guess.
How can I? Oh, I know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered. And there was a candle inside, so I couldn't help seeing him. His partner, Marley, lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat, all alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, I can't bear any more. Leave me. Haunt me no more. Take me back. Take me back.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and
He's never been much here. Here's the
You are listening to the Campbell Playhouse,
That's all the excitement. This place
bringing you tonight the 5th annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, produced by Orson Welles and starring Lionel Barrymore as Scrooge. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
bring me pine logs thither, now and I will see him dine, when we bear them thither. Page and monarch, forth they went together, through the rude winds while lament, and the bitter weather.
And now, back to the Campbell Playhouse and our 5th annual presentation of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas present from the makers of Campbell's Soups.
On the stroke of one,
Got it.
Scrooge awakened suddenly and sat him bolt upright in his own bed. You remembered the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second specter would appear. At that moment, nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing. And consequently, when no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling.
Man, I hate the rain.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. Then, as he sat in his bed, he became aware gradually of a great blaze of ruddy light that seemed to shine upon him from the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. It was his own sitting room, no doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove. From every pot of which bright, gleaming berries glistened, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as had never been known in Scrooge's time, or for many and many a winter season gone. Heaped up on the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultries, great joints of meat, sucking pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch, there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it up, high up to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
You're different from the other spirit. You're tall, almost a giant. That great torch you carry.
Its light falls into the homes of rich and poor alike.
Spirit, take me where you will. Last time I went against my will and learned a lesson which is working now. If you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe.
Where have you brought me, Spirit?
An humble dwelling, an humble street.
It's miserable enough.
Yet there is happiness there.
Who are these people? Who's that woman and the children?
These are the family of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. See his wife, dressed in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, laying the table for their Christmas dinner. And there, assisting her, is her daughter Belinda, and the young man with a fork in the stuffing. That's Master Peter Cratchit, and the two little Cratchits. Listen, Scrooge.
Here's Martha, Martha!
Bless your heart alive, Martha, my dear. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Mother. Merry Christmas.
How late you are, my dear.
Oh, we'd a deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind so long as you're here now. Sit you down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
Where's Father?
He's been to church with Tiny Tim. They'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is. And sometimes I think, oh, dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim.
Mother, you mustn't even think of such a thing.
Here
they are!
Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Martha, welcome, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Father. And Tim.
Come here,
Merry
Tim.
Christmas, Martha. Oh, Tim, you darling.
Let me take you.
Oh, Father, I'm so glad to be home.
And we're so glad to have you, Martha.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, as good as gold and better.
I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest songs.
Hey.
I hope people saw me there.
Saw you there. And why, Tim?
Well,
I'll
don't
think
you
about
see?
it.
Because I'm lame.
Okay.
And if they saw my crutch, it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas who it was made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Oh, bless you, my son.
Are we ready to eat, Mother? Come on, let's eat.
Yes, children, we're all ready. Come, take your places now. And wait your turn. There's plenty of stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for all of you. Martha, you take care of Tiny Tim and see that he eats plenty. He must get strong and well. Now sit down, everyone.
And now, my dears, shall we say grace?
Spirit,
Our Father who art in
tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved.
Oh, no, kind Spirit. Say he'll be spared. Say he'll live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future Ebenezer, the child will die.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner, a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
And now to Mr. Scrooge. I'll give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed, who pays you all 15 shillings a week. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
Oh, my dear, the children, Christmas Day.
Yes, it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say God bless him too, Mother, and everyone.
God bless you, Tim.
Play with us and you die.
There was nothing of high mark in all this. They were not a handsome family, these Cratchits. They were not well dressed. Their shoes were far from being waterproof. Their clothes were scanty and had known, very likely, the insides of a pawnbroker's. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. When at last they faded, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially on Tiny Tim until the last. Many calls Scrooge made that night with a ghost of Christmas present. Down among the miners they went who labor in the bowels of the earth, and out to sea among the sailors at their watch, dark, ghostly figures in their several stations. Much they saw, and far they went. In many places they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirits stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands, and they were close at home. By poverty, and it was rich. In almshouse, hospital, and jail, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out, the spirit left his blessing. It was a long night, if it was only a night. And it was strange, too, that while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older, clearly older.
My life upon this globe is very brief, Ebenezer. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark. The hour has come.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. There are still more things I wish to learn.
These you will learn from still another spirit. Still another spirit, Ebenezer.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost. It had vanished, and he found himself once more in his bed in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He'd heard the clock strike, and then he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley. And lifting up his eyes, beheld the third spirit.
You found loot. Good dog.
A solemn phantom, shrouded in black, draped and hooded, coming towards him slowly and silently like a mist along the ground.
I know you. You are the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You'll show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Answer me, spirit. Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Yet I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, lead on. Lead on. Night's waning fast. Time's precious. Spirit, why have you brought me here again? Here to Bob Cratchit's home? But it's not the same. Why is it so quiet? So very quiet here.
Mother. Mother, please.
Oh, my son. My little son.
Tiny Tim. I loved him so.
Oh, Mother dear, you mustn't.
Ooh, gift shop.
It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes. Yes, Martha.
Welcome to the Science Center.
He's late tonight. He walks slower than he used to.
Remember your visit to the Science Center?
And yet I've known him to walk very fast indeed.
What's for sale?
25% of proceeds
So have
are
I,
donated to the public school
But he was
science
light to carry.
department.
And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Bob.
Good evening, my dear.
You're late, Bob.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear. I went to the churchyard today. I wish you could have gone with me. It would have done your heart good to see how sweet and green a place it is. But you'll see it often, I promised him. Yes, I promised Tiny Tim we'd walk there on a Sunday.
Father, dear, it's God's will, Bob.
I'm trying to understand it, my dear. My son, my little son, Tiny Tim. And I loved him so.
Oh, that's cruel. Cruel. Spirit, can't you give me one ray of hope that I may change all that Tiny Tim may live? Where are you taking me now? Here, on a common street, Spirit? What is there for me to learn here? Who are those men?
I don't know much about it. Either way, I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral for Palm Mill life. I don't know anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
You know, come to think of it, I'll wager I was his best friend. What? We used to nod to each other when we met in the street.
No way.
Spirit, tell me, who is this man that died?
I'd really like to
Is
come
there
in.
no one
You
to
seem
mourn
nice
the
enough,
preacher?
but trust me,
No one to follow him
you
to
don't
the
want to come
grave?
inside.
Perhaps they'll give him a
Come on,
green
let me
grave,
in.
at least
You're not
like
gonna give
poor
up, are
Tiny
you?
Tim.
Have it your
Perhaps.
way. Doors unlocked. Come on in.
Spirit, where are we now? Merciful heaven, a churchyard. Overrun by grass and weeds, choked with too much burying, desolate, lonely, crumbling gravestone. Spirit, before I draw nearer to that gravestone, answer me one question. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Huh? Will you not speak to me, Spirit? What is that grave to which you point? Ah, now. There's writing on that stone. The name on the gravestone is Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, no, Spirit, no. Hear me. I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I'm past all hope? Tell me that I can change these dreadful shadows you've shown me by an altered life. I'll honor Christmas in my heart, and I'll try to keep it all the year. I'll live in the past, the present, and the future, and I'll not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me, Spirit, oh, go on, tell me that I can sponge away the writing on that stone, Spirit. I beg you, Spirit, I beg you. Spirit, I promise on my knees. I promise I'll... Why, what's this? It's my own bedpost. Oh, I'm home. In my own bed. In my own room. And the sun. The sun's shining. It's clear. It's bright. No fog. What a beautiful day. Oh, glorious. The boy. Oh, boy.
Yes, sir?
What's today?
What's that, sir?
Well, what day is it, my fine fella?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Ha ha! Christmas Day! Then I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. All in one night. Heaven be praised.
How's that, sir?
Listen, my lad. Do you know where the poulterer is in the next street?
I should say I do.
Ah, intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Tell me, do you know if they sold the prize turkey that was hanging in the window?
The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, my buck?
It's hanging there now, sir.
That's wonderful. Go around, will you? And tell him to send it to Bob Cratchit and his family on Broad Street. And mind you, they're not to know who paid for it. Go along. Hurry, hurry, my lad. Here, wait a minute. Here's ½ a crown for your trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a Merry Christmas, sir.
And a Merry Christmas to you, my boy. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas!
Can we chat?
A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all.
Show me what you got.
I'd like that.
My dear sir, how do you do?
What's on your mind?
If we see any mutated fern, grab it for me, would you?
Aren't you the
I've been
gentleman
holed
who
up in
came to
one
my
place in the
office in
Commonwealth where
regard
it
to
doesn't
that
grow.
charity?
Mutated fern.
Yes, sir.
A Merry
Sounds
Christmas
good.
to you.
Yes, sir.
Allow me to
Your
ask
thoughts?
your pardon.
Knew a caravan guard named Harry when I was a
And
kid.
will you have the
His
goodness
caravan got
to
attacked by raiders,
accept?
and they cut off his ear. His
Prefer to
ear.
whisper this.
Lucky it wasn't his nose.
But, Lord, bless me.
Your
My
thoughts?
dear Mr. Scrooge,
This one
are you
time,
serious?
my dad and his buddy
Please, now, not
Griever
a
tried to build a
farthing
cart
less.
for Ruby
A
our
great many
pull
back
behind her so she
payments
could
are
carry more stuff.
included in it, I assure
Within
you.
the first mile, it
Will
lost
you do
one
me
wheel.
that favor?
And by the
My
time
dear
we'd gone
sir, I
3
don't know what
miles,
to say
it
to
had
this
lost
munificent-
3.
Ah, don't say anything.
We burned it for our
please.
campfire that
Come
night.
and see me. Will you come and see me?
I will,
Your
I
thoughts?
will indeed.
You ever try adding
I'm
Milo
much
to your
obliged
noodles?
to you. I thank you
It
50
keeps you
times.
buzzing for days.
Bless you.
I once ran from
Merry
Bunker to
Christmas.
Covenant in under 2 minutes.
That's all.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. He went early for a reason. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he'd set his heart upon. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15, no Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come in. At last he came. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. He's on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
15 at 21 and 6 and carry the 1 and 24 and carry the 2, 31 and 8 and 9.
Hello,
Okay.
you Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
Step this way, Cratchit, if you please. Cratchit,
Play with us
what
and
do you
die, dumb
mean by
motherfucker.
coming in at this time of day?
Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are. Yes, I think you are.
Oh, it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It will not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I'll not stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I'm about to raise your salary.
Mr. Scrooge, are you quite yourself, sir?
No. No, thank heaven, I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family. Huh? Hey, we'll discuss it this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Bob, make a fire. Make it up and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another eye, Bob Cratchit.
knowledge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, as heaven and nature sing, as heaven and nature
You have just heard our annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, starring Lionel Barrymore, brought to you by the makers of Campbell's Soups. And now here is Orson Welles.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in the program, it's my custom, as you know, to present you with a good old city new or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge.
Somebody had a thing for toilets.
May that be truly said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, as heaven and nature sing, as heaven and
You have just heard our annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, starring Lionel Barrymore, brought to you by the makers of Campbell's Soups. And now here is Orson Welles.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in the program, it's my custom, as you know, to present you with a few words of introduction, our guest of the evening. With your consent, I shall dispense with this tonight. To introduce tonight's guest to the Campbell Playhouse audience, or to any American audience, is an extravagant and superfluous procedure. For if ever an actor has won for himself a lasting place in the hearts of his fellow countrymen through years of unsparing and inspiring service, that actor is Lionel Barrymore. Mr. Lionel Barrymore.
Oh, thank you, Orson Welles. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the 4th year I've had the pleasure of appearing in the Christmas Carol here on the Campbell Playhouse, and I assure you all it's a pleasure that never tires. As long as I can remember, this has been one of my favorite stories. When we were children, it was read to us regularly at this time of year, as it is to many millions of children right now. And like many of them, I'm sure, the three of us, Ethel, Jack, and I, with the aid of a sheet and some old ironware, made a play of it. As I remember, we had 3 Scrooges in that production.
Who played Tiny Tim?
I think we had 3 Tiny Tims, too. But seriously, I can think of no part that I've enjoyed playing again and again as much as I have the part of that squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, Ebenezer Scrooge. And I can think of no happier or more suitable choice for the makers of Campbell's Soups to offer the people of America as their Christmas present each year than Charles Dickens' well-beloved story, A Christmas Carol. Good night, Orson. Good night, everybody. And a Merry Christmas to you all.
Good night to you, Mr. Barrymore. Thank you, sir, and a Merry Christmas to you. Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night, we're happy to announce our version of a great and truly American story by a great American novelist, Come and Get It, by Edna Ferber. Against a background of the mighty forests of Miss Ferber's own Wisconsin, it tells a stirring tale of the men and women who live and die in the woods in order that lumber may come down the rivers every spring into the cities of the modern world. Like so many of Miss Ferber's epic romances of American life, it was made from a best-selling novel into a highly successful motion picture. Now we bring it to you on the air. The story of a man and his son and the girl they both loved, Lotta. Lotta, played for us by one of the loveliest and most accomplished of Hollywood's younger dramatic actresses, Miss Frances Dee. And so until next week, until Come and Get It, my sponsors, the makers of Campbell Soups, and all of us in the Campbell Playhouse remain, as always, obediently yours. But just one moment, please, Benny, excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the night before Christmas. And all through the Campbell Playhouse, not a creature is stirring that doesn't join Lionel Barrymore in wishing you a Merry, Merry Christmas. This goes for all of us, from my sponsor, myself, or for all of us, from Don McBain, who runs the machinery in the control room, to Miss Helgren, who types the Campbell Playhouse scripts. A Merry Christmas. From Benny Herman and his band of Merry Melodians. Merry Christmas. From Max Tears, canary-throated chorister. A very Merry Christmas. And from Harry Essman and Cliff Thorson and his crew of sound effect technicians. A Merry Christmas. And from Orson Welles and his considerable aggregation of dramatic talent, who include, among others, Mr. Everett Sloane, Mr. Frank Reddick, Mr. Erskine Sanford, Mr. George Coulouris, Mr. Ray Collins, Miss Georgia Backus, Miss B. Benaderet, and many, many others, a Merry Christmas. How about it, everybody? A Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. That's right. And now, as Tiny Tim says,
God bless us, everyone.
The makers of Campbell Soups join Orson Welles in inviting you to be with us in the Campbell Playhouse again next Sunday evening when we bring you Edna Ferber's Come and Get It with Miss Frances Dee as our guest. Meanwhile, if you have enjoyed our 5th annual presentation of A Christmas Carol, won't you tell your grocer so this week when you order Campbell Soups? This is Ernest Chappell saying thank you and a very Merry Christmas to you all. Columbia Broadcasting System. This is WBBM Chicago.
Now, listen to Orson Welles with Ray Collins in The Plot to Overthrow Christmas by Norman Corwin.
This is My Best, starring Orson Welles with Ray Collins in a Christmas story chosen from among his best works especially for this program by America's master radio poet, Norman Corwin.
America's best stars in the world's best stories. This is My Best, presented each week for your entertainment by
C-R-E-S-T-A, B-L-A-N-C-A. Presta Blanca. Presta Blanca. Sheltered from the ocean breezes, nestled among green rolling hills, nurtured by the friendly sunlight, cooled by softly falling rain. There the vines of Cresta Blanca, bursting forth in their green glory, growing, bearing, heavy laden, bring the grapes to luscious fullness. So the vintner quickly harvests, presses from them golden goodness, tends it gently, now to rest, till at last the wine is ready, shimmering, fragrant, full of flavor, masterpiece of his perfection, and he hails it proudly, saying, "This is my best. This is Cresta Blanca."
Good evening. This is Orson Welles. I'm very flattered indeed for the chance to be appearing so soon again on This Is My Best, very particularly in the radio best we have for you tonight. Best is a big word, but it isn't too big for Norman Corwin, who is certainly and beyond all argument the best writer the medium has produced. And best is a big word, but it isn't too big for Ray Collins either, who showed us the greater part of tonight's divertisement. If you know of a better actor in radio, please send me his name. I can use him in the Mercury. Here, then, is radio's best, a script by Corwin, and here's Corwin's very best for the holidays, a delicious and utterly delirious rigadoon of a thing entitled The Plot to Overthrow Christmas.
Shenley's Cresta Blanca wine presents The Plot to Overthrow Christmas by Norman Corwin, starring Orson Welles as Nero, with Ray Collins as Santa Claus on This Is My Best.
Did you hear about the plot to overthrow Christmas? Well, gather ye now from Maine to the Isthmus of Panama and listen to the story of the utter inglory of some gory goings-on in hell. Now, it happened in Hades, ladies and gentlemen. It happened down there that the fiends held a meeting. The fiends held a meeting for the purpose of defeating Christmas. With the aid of a fade on the radio, we'll take you there with a high and a Hady-ho to hear firsthand the brewing of the plot down in the deepest Stygian grot.
A grot is a poetical term for grotto. Whenever you hear my voce sotto or sotto voce, whichever you prefer, it's just I, taking pains to make quite sure that nobody makes a poetical allusion which might in any way create confusion. I return you now to the voice you were hearing before I had to do this interfering.
As I was saying, in this Stygian grot, the notables of Limbo hatched a plot. And what went on in the sulphurous hole, we'll soon pick up by remote control. You mustn't mind if it sounds erratic. That's merely intraterrestrial static. And don't be surprised if you're deafened by thunder just as we start on our journey under. And so below, via radio, to the regions where legions of the damned go.
Favorite concerto. You should look to the improvement of your manners.
Sir, if you please, my apologies. I would not have intruded upon your recital if the matters were not so terribly vital.
The most important matter in the world is piddling when it comes to be compared with Nero's fiddling.
Now, what you say may be very true, but I have been sent here to summon you to a great mass meeting of the tortured souls down in the grot of the flaming coals.
Why are we meeting? Who's on the spot?
We're meeting in order to fabricate a plot. A plot against the festival that mortal men comfort in and gladden in again and again. You see, every year...
Never mind the facts. I don't want to hear how mortal man acts. The only information about which I care concerns the mass meeting and who'll be there.
His wickedness, Mephisto, will preside.
Naturally.
And several of the Borgias will be sitting at his side. And down in front by the sizzling podium will be many personalities known for their odium. Haman Caligula, Medusa and Legree.
That's all very nice, but what about me?
Oh, you'll be sitting in row A, center, between Ivan the Terrible, the Tormentor, and Circe.
Mercy, why, they're both deranged.
Do Do you wish me to see if your seat can be changed?
Yes, if you will, please. Taste comes first, even though a soul may be eternally cursed.
Righto. See you at the meeting, then?
Yes, and now back to my fiddling again.
This is I, the sotto voce person. It should have been explained that Nero is rehearsing for nothing in particular. He's just that way. While Hell's Fires Burns, he likes to play. It makes him feel a little more at home. It's just an avocation he picked up at Rome.
The meeting will now come to order, please. I've called you here from over 60 seas of boiling pitch and blazing phosphorus to stop what constitutes a loss for us. And this is the reason. Though we've done well in carrying forward the work of hell, we've left a very big job unfinished. After all these years, there is undiminished goodwill on earth every late December because of Christmas. Now, please remember that as long as this continues to be, the race of man will not belong to me. I will listen now to any questions you may want to ask. And then, suggestions.
Mr. Chairman! Mr. Chairman!
Brother Heyman has the floor.
You say we've done well in our efforts to sell evil? I say we've done better. We have carried out the letter of your law. We've done what I think is a pretty good job. And I say, as a veteran demon...
See down there, Heyman. Enough of this folly.
Sit down yourself. You're off your trolley.
Sit down. For I am Ivan the Terrible.
You're telling us why you're unbearable.
Hello, demons! This is no way to act. Please proceed with a little more tact. I want more decorum in this forum. These personal remarks you make must cease. Now, Brother Ivan, will you speak your piece?
I merely want to say in a casual way that Heyman is a radical. He always gets fanatical. Why anybody'd think to hear him snort that the work of the devil should just stop short?
Mr. Chairman, Brother Ivan is a demagogue with a brain like a fly and the manners of a hog. He says that
Enough! We will hear from others. Surely there must be among you brothers enough of venom and malevolence to crush a mortal man's benevolence. It's come to this. Are we going to let a little holiday like Christmas get the better of us all down here below? No. Very well then, sirs, very well. Let's go. Let's lay down our plans now to overthrow this Christmas business and all that guff of holly and mistletoe and stuff.
Mr. Chairman!
Mr. Chairman. Brother Caligula may take the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I abhor as a former emperor anything which curbs our rule. Let us give some presents, too. Candy sticks and things to chew, fruits and nuts, and little cakes, poisonous as rattlesnakes.
Bravo!
Let our subtlest worker be bichloride of mercury. Let us wrap in tinsel bright little gifts of dynamite.
Bravo!
Work things so that men will fear when 1225 draws near. Soon at this rate, if you please, men will hang from Christmas trees.
My dear Caligula, permit the chair to say that we think you've got something there. And now, with this fine start, let's hear some more. Yes, Brother Nero, do you want the floor?
With all due respect to Caligula's views, I think there's a better method we can use. I've heard just lately men are giving the razz to classical music by making it jazz. They're swinging Bach, and what is keener, they're doing the shag to Palestrina. As a connoisseur of music, of course, I love the works of Rimsky-Korsakov, but today I note with a bitter shrug they've made Scheherazade a jitterbug.
Much as we admire your clever rhyme, will you get to the point? We're wasting time.
I was just about to say, when interrupted, that Christmas can easily be corrupted if you take and swing all the Christmas carols. I think of the evil. Just barrels and barrels of sacrilege. Every time you play a pious song in a profane way, why, once you entice them to swing Noel, then victory belongs to us fiends. Well?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Legree, I'd like to say that it seems to me that you all is barking up a coolness tree. I think Mr. Nero has made a wrong guess. The way to go about it is to get in Congress and bribe a bunch of senators who know their oaths and just make a purchase of a block of votes. They can all get together and pass a law where there ain't gonna be no Christmas anymore.
I think Legree's suggestion is abuse.
It's very cute.
And quite astute.
By the eternal night. That's right.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Miss Borgia.
I say that we should all give pause to think about this Santa Claus. He is the man behind the scenes, the symbol of what Christmas means. If we could rub him out, my friend, our troubles would be at an end. Just think how it would tickle us to liquidate St. Nicholas. A girl like me could fascinate the guy and then assassinate.
You think that you could do it, pretty one? Are you sure you wouldn't be by pity one?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're an awful tease, my master Mephistopheles. Ain't I murdered several dozens, poisoned uncles, aunts, and cousins? Men of virtue all have cussed me. I'm sure that you can trust me.
Of that we haven't a particle of doubt, Miss Borgia. I'm sure we all have nothing but kind feelings towards you. But many times a woman spy, alas, adores her victims. Dames make poor ambassadors.
Do you imply that such defects are found inherent in my sex?
That I do.
Well, listen here, old Ironsides. You're heading for some cyanides. You've crossed a Borgia, and you know the consequences that follow.
Come, disciples. This is very bad. There's nothing to be gained by getting mad. Now, suppose we put the matter to a vote. All those in favor of the motion made by Fiend Caligula, which was to shade the glamour of the holiday by using selected poisons of our choosing, all those in favor will please signify by rising to their feet and saying aye. Aye! One vote in favor, Caligula's. And those opposed? No. The motion is defeated. Up we bring the plan of Brother Nero's, viz. To swing the hymns and pious music. All those for will please respond by raising up a paw. For! And those against? Against! Very well. Now, the project of Legree's. Who is there here who totally agrees? I do. Legree votes for himself. And those opposed? Opposed! And now, all those who favor Borgia's cause. It being to eliminate Santa Claus. Aye, aye, aye! And those opposed? Seems the women have a way with them. At least they have carried the day with them. The motion's carried. And now we'll decide which one of us will take Nick for a ride. We'll all draw lots and thus settle the moot point of who'll be sent to execute.
You are listening to This Is My Best, and in just a few moments we'll tell you the rest.
But ere we return to the story of strife, a word, if you please, of a season that's rife with greetings and goodies and food served so fine with the elegant touch of a good table wine. A good table wine, Cresta Blanca California Sauterne. A wine that is golden, delicious, and light. A wine that will earn you praises galore. A distinctive dry wine that will add extra zest to your Christmas Day dinner made up of the best. The name, once again, Cresta Blanca Sauterne. And now back to the story. So we may all learn from our old friend Sotto Voce, visiting down where it returns.